Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope everybody's having a good day. I've got some bad news today. There was a really tragic shooting at the University of Virginia. A young brother allegedly took the lives of three of his teammates. And I have a few things to say about that as a black man, as a college professor, also as a person who has some things to say about the culture, CTE, hazing, just all kinds of stuff. So get comfortable, buckle up a seatbelt. We're going to have a deep conversation on drboycetv.com in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr Boyce TV. Here we are.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to say hello to everybody. Good morning. What's going on, DDS and Karen Williams? Shout out the name of your city as you come into the chat. Let me know what city you're from. What's up on Instagram? My Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins. And let me see, a well-endowed penguin. That's an interesting name. Stolen Jam 1. How you doing? Good to see everybody. So anyway, I hope you all are having a good day. Put your B1 in the chat. Just know that we're Black first on this platform. We talk about the Black community and we care about our community. So B1 is our philosophy. So put a B1 in the chat if you agree. All right. So anyway, let me know. Give me a yes or no. Did anybody hear about this crazy story at the University of Virginia about a young player who allegedly murdered 3 of his teammates? Did anybody else see this story? It's kind of crazy. It's very sad. And apparently, according to the police, I'm reading here, they said a torrent of grief has enveloped the University of Virginia, where classes are canceled for a second day after 3 football players were shot dead on campus and new details emerge about the fellow student accused of killing them. A vigil Monday drew hundreds of Charlottesville campus with candles placed around they have candles. The victims had just returned from a school field trip late Sunday when they were gunned down on and near a school bus. The suspect, an ex-UVA football player, was in custody by the next morning. The killings are among 68 shootings this year on U.S. school grounds. Okay, so they're trying to make it political. I'm not going to get into that. The UVA shooting prompted an hours-long manhunt as students locked down in dorms, classrooms, and libraries before Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. was arrested late Monday in Henrico County, about 80 miles east of Charlottesville. He faces 3 charges of second-degree murder and 3 counts of using a handgun in the commission of a felony. So this story makes me very sad because you see at least 4 young black men going down, and they're all young. I mean, this guy I think he was a former student, but these are the guys who are the victims, and so I think we should definitely mourn the victims. And my greatest condolences go out to their families, and also my condolences go out to the family of the young man who committed this terrible crime, because I'm sure they are grieving too. I'm sure they're going through a lot of pain. There's a lot of confusion, like how could this happen? I don't think they expected their child would go to a school like the University of Virginia, which, by the way, the University of Virginia is an extraordinary institution. It ain't like Wichita State or some average school. The University of Virginia is a school that attracts elite students. I had a friend named Melinda Hightower who went to University of Virginia. She became the national president of the Black Law Students Association. Melinda was one of the smartest people I knew, and I haven't talked to her for years, but I think she's some super high-paid attorney out in California now. So UVA is not a game. My mentor, Dr. Tommy Whitler, one of my best buddies, I remember he taught on the faculty at the University of Virginia, and I remember that was a big deal too. So UVA is not a mediocre school. It's not some raggedy ass community college. It's not some school that you would expect this kind of thing to happen. Not to say it should happen anywhere, right? Not to say it should ever happen, but these brothers, all 4 of these young men, were a pride of their family, and So this really baffled me. This threw me off. And as you guys know, I'm not a finance professor who happens to be black. I'm a black man who happens to be a finance professor. So I wanted to make this the topic of my podcast today because I really wanted to tell you guys what I'm seeing. A lot of mainstream media isn't going to see it the way I think people like us are going to see it. I think that the mainstream media will see scary black man shot 3 well-behaved black men, and then they're going to start talking about the politics of gun control and everything else. I'm not here to tell you what your politics on gun control should be. I do believe America has too many guns. I sat down with Minister Louis Farrakhan for 2 hours one time. He and I had a great conversation, one of the best conversations I ever had. And the minister, I remember him specifically mentioning that the United States has more guns than people, which is crazy. And if you look at the history, I love to look at corporate histories and stuff like that. And one time I watched a documentary about the history of Smith and Wesson and how they had the rivalry over who was going to control the gun industry. You can see where capitalism and financial greed drives just mass production of guns. They make money from people dying. They make money from these weapons being used. They make money when kids are being killed in the hood on the south side of Chicago, and the police aren't stopping it. The police are allowing these things to happen. So ultimately, there is a big problem there, right? There's a big issue there in the United States when it comes to guns. At the same time, my buddy Maj Touré runs Black Guns Matter, and so I tend to be a believer in the responsible use of guns as a means for safety. In this particular case, this was an issue for a few reasons, and I'll go into some of these reasons right here. Before I do that, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, I have to warn everybody that online, sometimes there are these fake Boyce Watkins accounts, and they hit you up and they say, inbox me, and then they try to sell you crypto or whatever. Do not fall for any of these fake accounts. I just want to warn you guys so that you guys don't get duped by these suckers that are in some other country, cloning people's accounts. And they follow all your friends. It's really sad. I wish I could do more, but it's life. All right. So, and make sure you hit the notification bell. That's really important. The notification bell is critical so that you'll be notified when we go live on the platform. I don't think they want you to have intelligent conversations. That's why they kind of slow this stuff down. But here's the first thing that went through my mind was I think my first thought as a parent, because again, this guy who shot them, he was an ex-student, but he wasn't that old. I mean, he was a freshman in 2018. It's 2022. So he's probably about 22, 23 years old, maybe 24 at the oldest, probably 22, 23. So he was still a kid. He was a very young guy. So my thought is like, what happened here? Like, what was really going on here? Now, if you make the assumption that these are all, that this guy was in his right mind, then what happened? Was it a conflict that could not get resolved through some sort of conflict resolution skill? Was it the culture? You guys know the reason we have a rapper that dies every single week is because we have a culture that glorifies black men killing each other. That is a culture that is being funded by people who are not black. That is a culture that needs to be ended right now. That is a culture that is designed to destroy you and keep you enslaved. So do not believe BET when they tell you that this is for the culture, because that same culture that BET was promoting at the BET Awards is the same culture that got the rapper Takeoff murdered down in Houston. This same culture is getting brothers killed and sent away to prison and put in body bags on a regular basis. That ain't your culture. That's not even culture. That's called hell. That's called chaos. That's called genocide. That ain't even culture. Don't even call that damn shit culture. That ain't no damn culture. I don't know what the hell you talking about. No, how about you put that culture on your community? I'm talking to all the people that are funding this so-called culture and this genocide, and they're calling it culture. How about we put that culture on you? How about you put on the outfit that you want us to wear, and then we'll see how much you like it. So anyway, so moving on with that. So I don't know if this was the culture or not. I can't speculate on that. Because what my next thought was it went to CTE, the traumatic brain injury that it affects so many football players. I have looked into this a lot because there are a lot of black men who play football. I have researched it extensively. Will Smith, shout out to him, did a great movie about the brother in Pittsburgh who discovered CTE. This is very real. I have met NFL players who have struggled with CTE. I'll never forget the conversation I had with a guy Antoine Randall L., who won a Super Bowl. And I remember Antoine Randall L. telling me very clearly that CTE affects most of his friends. A year later, Antoine was in USA Today on the cover where he said, "I wish I had never played football." That is a heavy statement. I need you to go share this with your sons. Some of y'all got sons that are super athletes. The black man is a superhero. We are extraordinary. We're like the real life Avengers because we have extraordinary athletic ability. And so they want us all playing football. And I'm not saying football's bad. I'm just saying make sure you understand what you're getting into and what risk you are taking. This CTE is real. The CTE can cause not just things like depression and stuff like that, but sometimes it causes violence. I believe CTE because it affects the frontal lobes of the brain. I'm not a brain expert, but this is me being an armchair brain scientist. I don't really understand the brain at the level of a brain scientist, but from what I understand, it damages the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe and the prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain that separates you from an animal. Give me a yes if you follow what I'm saying. This is the part of your brain that slows you down. You think about it. If an animal gets pissed, if a bear gets pissed at another bear, what's the bear going to do? Somebody answer this. Give me an answer in the chat. If a bear gets pissed at another bear, what do you think the bear's going to do? You think the bear's going, you think he's going like just like, I don't know, take him to court? If a bear gets pissed at another bear, you think they're going to just talk it out? Like, hey, man, rawr, you hurt my feelings, though. Rawr. What do you think bear's going to do? When a bear gets pissed at another bear, I'm making a point here. What is a bear going to do? Yes, he's going to attack. He's going to attack. And do you think that the bear is going to just lay a couple paws on somebody, or you think he's going for the kill? You think he's going to kill? You think he's aiming for the kill? Like, you think the bear is going to feel bad if he kills another bear over a woman or some food or some territory? Those are kind of the three things that animals fight over. Right. The bear's going to fight to the death, right? The bear's going to be like, man, I want to kill this SOB. You was with my woman and you took my food and you on my territory. I peed around that tree. You can't be right there, right? That's what animals do. So Professor Ken Sapolsky at Stanford University explains in a very eloquent set of lectures that he did that there's only about a 3 to 5% difference between the brain of a human and the brain of an animal. And the prefrontal cortex represents that very small differentiation. So here's where I'm getting at. I need y'all to follow me here. And you are intelligent black people. Give me a yes if you're following this. I don't want people to say, well, you talk over everybody's head. No, y'all need to understand the higher level thinking in order for you to really get what's going on, what's happening to your sons. So when your son is playing football, he's taking all these hits to that prefrontal cortex and that brain damage is kicking in, then that part of his brain that separates him from an animal is being depleted. It's being destroyed. Other things that actually destroy the prefrontal cortex are things like watching lots of entertainment. Black people watch more entertainment than anybody else. So what happens is your critical thinking skill starts to go out the window. You start acting and thinking more like an animal than like a human. I'm not saying that they're animals. I'm not saying that I'm not trying to be demeaning toward anybody. But literally, what happens is, if you think about an animal, like if an animal sees a pretty girl, an animal is gonna go and do what animals do. You know what I'm talking about? They're gonna do some jungle love. You know what it is, right? Animals ain't thinking about child support payments. Animals ain't thinking about hurting somebody's feelings. Animals ain't thinking about STDs. Animals ain't thinking about the long-term implications of building an unstructured family where you have children splattered all over the city. No, animals are like, there's pleasure over there. I'm going to go get some pleasure, and that's it. So ultimately, my point is to say that when that brain damage happens, my theory, this is Uncle Boyce talking, armchair quarterback, and all this. My belief is that, and I don't even know if CTE played a part in this. For all I know, the brother could have just been, angry, or he could have been crazy before. I have no idea. But I believe what CTE does is it causes you to do the things that you want to do, instead of just thinking it and not doing it. I mean, how many of you, give me a yes or no. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. How many of you have ever been so pissed off at somebody that if you could kill them with your brain, you would? Like if you could just think like imagine their death and then have them die, like you would actually let the person die. Raise your hand. Come on, be honest. Give me a yes in the chat if you've ever felt that way, had that much anger towards somebody. I ain't gonna lie. I have. I probably had that like about once a month. Right? I ain't gonna tell you who it is. But seriously, like when you're so mad, like you really want to kill that person. But what stops you? What stops you from doing it? What stops you from just getting your strap, going to their house, pop, they're gone. Your problem has disappeared. Well, because you're thinking about like 80 years in prison. You're thinking about being taken away from your family. You're thinking about losing everything. So that stops you. So what I believe, and I believe this happened with Aaron Hernandez with the New England Patriots, who had just won a Super Bowl and was going to the club and like killing people. Like the police didn't even investigate Hernandez. Look it up. They didn't even investigate this guy because they were like, there's no way that a normal person would go win a Super Bowl and then go to the club and murder somebody. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Why would you do that? You're making 20 million, 10 million a year, whatever, from the Patriots. Why would you go and kill people in the club? But because his mind wasn't right. When Aaron Hernandez went to prison and killed himself, they did an autopsy and they found he had tremendous amounts of brain damage. Another person that I believe is a CTE victim is a guy named Kellen Winslow Jr. Kellen Winslow Jr. was the son of the great Kellen Winslow. Just like his dad, he was an extraordinary receiver in the NFL. Millions of dollars, kicking ass and taking names, star at the University of Miami. Kellen Winslow went to prison for years for raping like 75-year-old women. I mean, really. Now, I'm not trying to say, now we know rape is bad under any circumstances, but old ladies, like what's going on here? Like that you definitely in your. I'm sitting there trying to figure out how deranged does a crime have to be before you start saying, well, maybe this is an insanity defense. I don't know. Maybe there is no standard for that. I have no idea. I mean, because that's some Jeffrey Dahmer level like weirdness. Like, really? Like, first of all, you're raping people, and then it's like old ladies. Like that don't make any sense. Kellen Winslow Jr. was doing that because I believe Kellen Winslow, remember, he played the same position as Aaron Hernandez. And I think that they both took a lot of these hits to the brain. So my point is to say that when you're talking about a lot of these crimes, just know that every single time I see a football player act out with a burst of violence or harming somebody or doing something that doesn't seem right, I'm always in my mind thinking CTE. When I said that to my wife is a therapist. She's a full professor of social work. She is licensed in all things related to the conscious and subconscious mind. And when I told this story, again, also she's a college professor and a parent like me. So we were both concerned about this. Instantly, I said, hey, babe, can you look at this story? This guy, this football player killed 3 of his teammates. She said, CTE. That's literally what she said, CTE. So what I'm saying to you is that this is the risk that we're taking, and we sacrifice so many of our boys to these sports. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it, because I got a lot of friends that play football, and I'm probably hypocritical on this. I like watching my Ohio State Buckeyes, and stuff like that. Like, football is a fun sport to watch, but I really think we have to reassess our relationship with football. And you can't tell me CTE doesn't have something to do with what happened here. There was probably very real anger and everything else, but I think that it's the CTE that causes you to actually go pick up the gun, when really, if you're in your right mind, you would just think about picking up the gun. Okay. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Just a reminder, later on today, I'm doing a stock market investing class. So if you'd like to learn about stock market investing, that my PhD is in finance, and the market's doing really well. There are a lot of opportunities that look like they're going to emerge in 2023. I can show you everything you need to know. If you'd like to join us, just go to my website, boycewatkins.com. You can get in class. We meet every Tuesday. We're going to do that today at 11 o'clock Eastern. Also later, as you know, in the Black Business School, we serve millions of students worldwide. If you'd like to join us on Wednesday nights, we have free Powernomics training. So you can do that for free. Just go to I'll put it on my website to make it easy for you. So the Powernomics training is really important. All Black people should know Powernomics, because Powernomics gives you the ability to engage in economic self-defense and also to position your family to do well financially. Thursday, we're doing a stock options training camp. So if you're already stock market investing and you want to go to the next level, stock options are the next level. I'm good at that too. And then Friday and Saturday, Michelle Walker Davis is doing a special conference in the Black Business School that's virtual. So you can do it from home, on how your business and your organization can get access to $1 trillion that's out there in government grant funding. Or sorry, not government grant. I'm sorry. There's almost there's $850 billion in government grants and $7 trillion in government contracts. So this is a big piece of money that our people deserve. And Michelle Walker Davis is one of the best experts to show you how to do that. So she's doing a conference on that this weekend. So you can find out about all that at boycewatkins.com, or if you're on Instagram, you can hit the link in the bio. So hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Very important, hit the notification bell. Okay, so last piece I'm going to throw in here about this. You know, we're talking about this brother at University of Virginia. I'm not going to say his name because there's no point in going into all that. You can find all that from the mainstream media. I take no joy in saying, you know, talking about the specifics of Black men who just lost their lives. There's 4 of them. There's 3 guys that got killed, and then the 4th one is probably going to get a long time in prison. And one other thing that I did read that was really interesting, and this is just, again, this is Uncle Boyce popping in. This is Professor Boyce coming in and saying this. The student was also connected to a hazing incident. So there was a hazing investigation where apparently he went overboard with hazing, and they were investigating it. And they said that they could not actually investigate it properly because none of the witnesses would cooperate. Now, this is a sticky issue, right? A lot of you may be Greek. A lot of you have friends that are Greek. My brother and my sister are Greek. My sister's an AKA. My brother is an Alpha. I'm going to just say this. The fraternity I pledged was called Me Phi Me. I wasn't interested in none of that. It had no appeal to me. And it lost appeal to me because I remember them explaining the process to me. All the fraternities recruited me, by the way, and it wasn't because I was the cool kid on campus. There's nothing cool really about me. I'm just a guy who's a proud nerd, and I love reading, and I wanted to be the smart guy. I didn't want to be the cool asshole in the back who's ruining his life by making dumb decisions. So that was just me. But I was very confident in who I was, so maybe that played out for me. I have no idea. But long story short, I remember all the fraternities recruiting me to join. Literally every single one on our campus. The Alphas, the Omegas, was it Phi Beta Sigma, is that right? And then there's another, the Kappas. I remember literally each fraternity sitting me down and having a guy say, hey, we really want you to join. And the reason they wanted me to join, I knew why, because again, I was smart. I had the highest GPA of all the Black students on campus. I remember knowing, I said, oh, I think they want me to join because my GPA is high, and I'll bring up the GPA of the fraternity because none of y'all sons of bitches like to study. I know y'all, like y'all, my friends, y'all don't study. I'll be up in the library, man, because I'm trying to have a future one day. I'm trying to be something. I'm trying to be somebody. So here's my fraternity story. I remember kind of they like asking like, okay, so what are the benefits? Like I'm a 2+2 type of guy. That's it. Like 2 + 2 is always going to be 4 to me. Even if you tell me 2 + 2 is 186, it's always going to be 4 to me, right? So I'm like, okay, what's the benefit? What am I gaining here? How does this work? So they explained some of the benefits. Like I've seen this, right? Where you have these connections, these friendships that stay with you for the rest of your life. And I see people that are Greek. I see my brother connected with Alphas all around the world. I think that's very cool. But I remember thinking, well, I don't really need you all to be my friends because you're already my friends, and that's free. I don't have to pay anything for you to be my friend. And really, if I join your group and we start wearing the same colors, then that means I gotta like roll with you. I gotta like be there for you all the time. And some of those guys were just stupid. Some of the guys I knew would just create unnecessarily dumb situations for themselves. Hey, cuz I need to borrow $100. Or why? Because I spent my money on at the club last night, and I can't pay my rent. Well, that's not my fault that you were too stupid to plan ahead with your money. No, I'm not giving you my money. No. So I remember just kind of thinking like, I don't know if I really want to be wrapped up in being responsible for people who I didn't feel were always making the best choices. But then also I remember I said, well, how much does it cost to pledge? Because the colors are kind of cool and the step shows are kind of cool. Maybe I can get involved with that. So then they were telling me it would cost all this money, like hundreds of dollars. And I didn't have a lot of money in college. I was broke as hell. Like I had very little money, and I had to pay child support because I had a baby when I was 18, and I was working 3 jobs. And I was like, so wait a minute. So you're telling me this. So you're telling me I got to pay you money so that you can mess up my GPA. My homeboy became a Q. He pledged when we were freshmen. His GPA went from 3.7 to 1.5. And I said, and I was like, all I have going for me, because at that point in my life, I was 18, 19 years old. I didn't have a lot going for me. I didn't have a lot of support. My parents dumped me off on campus. I didn't have no money. Only thing I had going for me was my GPA. And I was protecting that with my life. And I was like, so you mean I got to pay you money I don't have to let you ruin my grade point average, like, and wake me up in the middle of the night and make me serve you? Like, I got to do what you're telling me to do. I'm not built for none of that shit. Like, I'm not built for any of this. I'm not interested in getting on my knees and letting you put a cigarette out on my tongue. I will fuck you up. Excuse my French. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cuss this early in the morning, but I was like, I will kick you in your ass. You do some of that stuff to me that I've seen you do to other people. I don't do that. That doesn't work. That will not go over well for you or for me. So, and then on top of that, you taking my money. That's not going to happen. So I didn't want to participate. And so through the years, I saw a lot of it. You know, I saw it in college, then I saw it in grad school, then I saw it again as a professor. And I came to some conclusions about Greek life when it goes bad. I think Greek life in a good sense can be productive and wonderful and beautiful. I see the sororities and fraternities, and they get older and they do all these great things together. And so I think that culture can be extremely beneficial. But then we know that there's a dark side to everything, right? And the dark side is the pledging. You know, I mean, the not the pledging. Sorry, scratch that. The hazing, when pledging becomes hazing, and when you're talking about these horrible things that college students do to each other. And I don't know what this guy must have done to other people that he was pledging with. I mean, if he's a murderer, then he probably was not fun to pledge with. And I can't imagine how a parent would feel. I know as a parent, if I send my child to the University of Virginia, one of the most prestigious institutions in this country, and I'm thinking they have a great future. I'm thinking that they're going to be in good situations. I'm thinking they're going to be safe. And to find out that my child is getting their ass kicked every weekend, I'm going to be furious over that. To find out that my child, and then, I mean, I don't even want to talk about the parents of these poor young guys that, I mean, these are handsome, strong Black men, like intelligent, were on their way to be very successful. Now they're dead. They're literally in a casket now, you know? So I really think, I think that where I'm going with this is I think that when we talk about questioning various aspects of the culture or various cultures that are not beneficial, I really hope that when you send your kids to college, you'll give them the courage to speak up and stand out, or speak out and stand up against hazing and whatever. You know, if they go Greek, I'm going to tell you the truth. If I was going Greek and you're doing something to me that is illegal,
Could you try again?
Hold on, shut up. I'm trying to tell my watch to be quiet. If you do something illegal and something that really harms me, that could get me put in the hospital or dead, not only am I going to kick your ass, but after that, I am going to file a police report so that you can't do that to anybody else. That is the one area where I would be the biggest snitch on the damn planet. Call it what you want, complain as much as you want, say what you want. It does not matter. No kid should be going to college and being put in harm's way at that level. That is ridiculous. It's ignorant as shit. And whoever is a part of that culture, whoever endorses that nonsense, needs to speak up, especially you older Greeks who have influence on the younger ones. I know that you can't stop everything. I know things are going to happen. But when you've seen as much as I have, I've taught on college campuses for 30 years. I've taught at the University of Kentucky, Indiana University, Syracuse University, and every single campus I was at, there was always some crazy incident that involved pledging and hazing that was completely unnecessary. And you're like, damn. Now you got a 19-year-old that's going to spend 25 years in prison. Or now you got a 20-year-old who's going to be a lifetime alcoholic. Or now you got some girl that got raped at a party and nobody knows who raped her. I mean, it's all unnecessary, especially when you start throwing in stuff like alcohol. You know, I mean, I'm going to tell you, 19-year-olds are dumb enough as it is. No disrespect if you're 19, but you're stupid. I'm sorry. When you'll figure it out when you get older. I was dumb at 19. But when you mix in stuff like alcohol, and then you have a so-called culture that's being pushed on you by the so-called adults that are supposed to be guiding you to good decisions, that's a recipe for disaster. You know, so I think that as older people, I think that we have an obligation to really be real clear with young people about the consequences of these choices. They're making these choices in the blind, in the dark, and I think that we're hurting our kids when we do that. You know, and I say that because I remember being at Syracuse University, and I got into a public argument with another professor who was actually running the Black Law Student Association. I knew this professor was nothing but a stone cold alcoholic. My father met him And my father looked at him and he told me afterward, he said, don't ever tell this guy your secrets because he drinks way too much and drunks will always tell your secrets. My father was a police detective, so he could pick up signs on people and stuff like that. But anyway, this guy was running the Black Law Student Association, and I'll never forget that. I remember every single email that I got. We were on the same email listserv, and every email I got was some sort of happy hour or something like about liquor. Like, let's get together and get the liquor. The liquor will be, be pouring. We got plenty of drinks, free drinks for everybody. And I was like, well, lawyers are like more likely than the general population to become alcoholics. And you do know the consequences of alcoholism are pretty massive. And we just kind of ignore it because we think that it's normal. And I said, maybe you shouldn't be encouraging young Black kids to start becoming alcoholics before they actually get there. I mean, it's okay. If somebody wants to look for the liquor bottle, that's okay. Like, go get it. But to me, when you have somebody who doesn't need to do all that, who isn't trying to do all that, and you're pressuring them to do these things, that's when I have a problem. And I speak on that as a person who was pressured. I never drank. I didn't drink because, again, I always knew 2 + 2 was 4. Some of y'all sons of bitches don't know this shit. Excuse my French. Some people don't understand that 2 + 2 is 4. And but I always knew that, even when I was 8. And I saw relatives in my family, a lot of Black men where they had a lot of potential who never reached anywhere near their potential because they were up on their damn liquor bottle, because they were out looking to go get lit again. And it was sad because not only did they disappoint themselves, but they disappointed everybody around them. They disappointed their children, even their damn. It's sad when your own damn kids can't even respect you. They can't even acknowledge that their daddy has ever accomplished anything good other than knowing how to drink a whole bottle of whiskey in one gulp or whatever. And I just really think that for all of us that really care about community and family and doing better, we've got to have critical analysis of everything that we take for granted. You might think that it's okay because everybody's doing it, but that don't make it okay. That does not make it okay. No sheep are allowed in the building. If you do something and it's stupid, do it because that's what you chose to do. Don't do it because everybody else is doing it. Because I'm going to tell you, you live in a pretty stupid society. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Forgive me for this rant. I hope that this helps somebody. That's why I'm sharing these things. And I do believe I know what I'm talking about because I spent so many years on these college campuses and I saw a lot of people getting hurt that didn't need to get hurt. I saw a lot of potential loss that didn't need to get lost. I saw a lot of young people that could have went on and done amazing things, but some of them are dead, in jail, or permanently damaged in some horrible way because the adults around them did not take our responsibility to speak up and say, no, that's not how you live your life. These are the consequences of those choices. Let me help you make a better choice. That's what a leader is supposed to do. So let's lead. This is our community. The white folks ain't got this. This is our community. These are our kids. This is our responsibility, period. So anyway, thank you all for listening. I enjoy speaking with you. Again, if you could you please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell. The notification bell is very important so that you'll get notified when we go live. I'll be back a little bit later. I'll keep you guys posted on what's going on with financial markets. The producer price index information is coming out today. So I'm going to give you an update on that a little bit later. And also, if you'd like to join us for stock market investing class at 11 a.m. Eastern, just go to boycewatkins.com. Or if you're on Instagram, you can hit the link in the bio. We'll get started in a little bit. And then tomorrow we're doing Powernomics tomorrow night. And then Thursday we'll do stock options. So in the Black Business School, we got you. I left Syracuse University and started the Black Business School because I wanted to teach Black people. I didn't want to teach, other people. I really wanted to teach our own. So that's what we're doing. And we're doing it all around the world and we're getting it done. And I'm very proud of that. So have a good day, everybody. God bless you. Thank you for listening. And again, RIP to the brothers that were killed in this terrible incident. And I hope that their families can find some peace. So bless you. Talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, 10, 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr Boyce TV. Here we are.